So we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Dominique. No. Let's not do that. Minister Dominique Alexander at it again. Okay. Now, if you guys recall, a couple of days ago, Minister Dominique Alexander had posted that Carmelo Anthony was having a birthday, this and that and the other. And then later on in that same week, he went and said that Carmelo Anthony would graduate. Okay. Now, I already knew from the start this was for chaos. This man is an agent of chaos. All he's there to do is stir up anger and frustration between two races. In all actuality, that's his only function in life, it seems to be. So anyway, he went and gave his whole speech about him graduating, and now we see behind the scenes. We see the fallout on how the families feel about this. And let's keep it 100% real with each other. Same thing like Carmelo Anthony's birthday and he's asking people to give money. We didn't need to know that. If Carmelo Anthony somehow figured out how to graduate because they worked out some negotiation or some bullshit, why publicize it? This is why I say the family has to be burying their head underneath the sand if they feel like this guy is there to help them. But hey, I'm going to stop saying it because clearly they're riding with Minister Dominique Alexander until the fucking wheels fall off. So hey, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't let him drink, because I know they've seen videos from me, Jumpsuit Pablo, just the multitude of people covering this shit. I know they've seen one of them. And I know they have a brain of their own. It's not like they're oblivious to the fact that this guy is bad news. You can't be. Like, bruh, what are you doing? But anyways, let's go ahead and check out what happened today, because Austin Metcalf's mom had some strong words to the school, and the response, it might shock you a little bit. Let's go ahead and check this thing out. So just a quick recap of this absolute fucking clown, Dominique Alexander. He posted to the news and promoted the shit out of his New Generation Action Network at the same time. He spoke with the news and he said, "We are proud to share that Carmelo Anthony will graduate and receive the high school diploma, and that his academic achievement will not be disrupted. Minister Dominique Alexander, Nagam president, said, per CBS News Texas and NBC5 DFW, "This is a moment of dignity for Carmelo Anthony and a reminder of the power of advocacy done right." So remember, I had brought that up a little while ago. We did not need to know that. If he didn't bring that shit up, I bet you Carmelo Anthony would have graduated and none of us would have known. Not even the Austin Metcalf family. This guy is a fucking parasite. He does something that he quotes himself as good doing, and then he blasts it over the internet and causes a ruckus about it. The guy is a parasite, a termite. He destroys things. You know when termites go into your wood? In Belize, when you grow up, if you have certain types of wood, termites will eat it and destroy it. He slowly destroys the structure of everything. He's literally a fucking termite. But let's move forward. In a statement emailed to USA Today on May 14th, Alexander did not disclose details of the agreement made with Frisco School District. He also alluded to and condemned possible threats against the graduation ceremony. First and foremost, the kid's not even publicly graduating. So who's going to try to stop the ceremony, bro? They're going to do a family celebration, more than likely, right? And they're just going to go about their day. This guy he's basically asking somebody to do something so that he has something to talk about. That's what it really is. Because when he runs out of things to do, when Carmelo isn't hot right now, he's going to switch over to George Floyd protests, and he's going to switch over to a whole bunch of random shit that's not relevant to today. The guy is scrounging for attention. I hate people like this, but let's move forward. And then they quote him. He says, "It is truly a shame that anyone would go as far as to threaten the graduation ceremony or try to ruin a day that should be filled with joy, pride, and accomplishment for so many students and their families," he wrote. "This moment is bigger than any one voice or any one attack." Just a disgusting human being. I don't know. And I feel like he sleeps perfectly fine at night. You know how the saying is, I don't know how you sleep at night. I think the worst part is he probably sleeps perfectly fine. The guy has brainwashed himself into thinking that he's actually doing advocacy work. Boy, if you don't get your fucking dumbass, baby shaking, baby beating ass out of here, nobody in the black community with a sane mind wants this termite anywhere close to them. Please go over there. Go over there. This shit's crazy. But anyways, let's see what the response was. Now, apparently this has been in the works for a while because now we have an email that reached the public domain. And it is Austin Metcalf's mother pretty much asking the school, please don't let this kid graduate. Pretty much. So we're going to go through this letter and we're going to check it out. But I'll tell you one thing. Do you think the Metcalf family would have publicized this? No. Of course they wouldn't. If they lost the argument and Karmelo gets to graduate, you think they would publicize it? The only person that wants to publicize this shit is Dominique Alexander. This was an internal email before it became public, but let's go check it out. So the email is from Megan Metcalf. Subject matter is Metcalf family concern. Please read. Importance high. And it goes as such. Hello, board members. My name is Megan Metcalf. My son, Austin Metcalf, was tragically taken away from me on April 2nd, 2025, from another Frisco student. I have been informed the civil rights team that this person has behind him are reaching out to you requesting he still be able to graduate. I do not know much about your stance on the protests, etc., but I would urge you to make sure that you do not change your mind on this ruling. That boy is expelled and it stays that way. Now, from my understanding is Karmelo Anthony did get expelled, right? But I think on the other side of the argument, they were saying that Karmelo Anthony already completed his credits, so let him graduate. But that doesn't really make sense to me. If you got expelled, it doesn't matter. You got expelled. You don't get to have your diploma, especially if you're in the middle of a murder trial. Now, again, innocent until proven guilty. So you could always say, well, he's not convicted, so he gets to graduate. That would be true if he wasn't already expelled. What student do you know? And I went to, we've all gone to high school. What students do you know of get expelled and then graduate? Shit, expel me a couple months early. Fuck it. As long as I get my diploma, shit. Expel me. I never heard of that shit before. So that is kind of funky that this is a possibility in the first place. But let's continue and see what else happens. My son, Austin, will never be able to graduate. This person will have their opportunity to get his GED at a later time because he is still living. That is a good point, actually. I would strongly request that you do not allow them to sway your ruling and keep him from being able to graduate from Frisco ISD schools we hold dear. I actually never really thought about that. If he gets convicted, he could get his GED. If he doesn't get convicted, he could get his GED. It's almost like, I understand what she's saying. It's almost like he can get it. He's a fucking grown man. If you really want your GED, he's still alive. Austin Metcalf died. You know what I mean? You guys in the comments, let me know how you feel about it. Do you think he should be able to graduate? Do you think she's overblowing it? Or do you think it should just be pretty much equal? He killed somebody. I mean, at the end of the day, guys, he got expelled. You're not supposed to come back to school if you get expelled. That's kind of the point. But let's move forward to see what the school had to say. Now, keep in mind the timeline right here, right? That was on the 17th of April. She replies to them again on May 13th. So now we're catching up to current time. We're reporting that he gets to graduate, so on and so forth, right? Okay, now this gets a little fishy here because she emails again closer to present time and she has it subject. Why is there full caps, no response to me? And then she puts in the subject matter, in the paragraph below, someone needs to respond to me, exclamation point, this is unacceptable. That is a long time. Now I will admit that sometimes, sometimes schools lag on things, but this type of a situation, you should not be lagging. Again, going back to high school, there's a big fight in school. Somebody's head is busted open, bleeding and shit. There's a fight in the parking lot, or somebody's getting bullied, but it's a serious situation. The schools always tackle those things first, ahead of anything else, because why? They don't want to have that negative rapport with the parents. This is out of characteristic for them to just be ignoring them, essentially, right? But you'll understand why. Let's move forward. Okay, now we have a response that same day that she responds. Maybe they saw the full caps in their email and they're like, shit, maybe we need to respond to this lady. They say, Miss Metcalf. No, dear. No, I'm playing. Miss Metcalf, I apologize for the lack of response. Due to student privacy laws, we cannot comment on any individual student. We can provide the following information. When Frisco ISD is notified that a student has been arrested or charged with serious Title V felony, the district reviews the situation and decides whether disciplinary action is appropriate. If a disciplinary recommendation is made, the student and their parents are notified. End of story. End of story. Now, this is protection for the school because, to be honest, that's what you would expect from someone trying to save their ass. We're not gonna tell you shit. If you heard that in the atmosphere, we're sorry, but we're keeping our cards to our chest. And lo and behold, they let him graduate. So this is what, in my opinion, happened. It's the political pressure. Whatever Dominique is doing is working in some capacity in terms of the school. On the social front, Dominique Alexander is kind of forcing the hand of these organizations to make them, I guess, not look racist. That's the only thing I could assume. They're trying to just play real softball until this kid gets convicted. And let it be known, he's probably going to get convicted because it wasn't self-defense, guys. It wasn't self-defense at the end of the day. And there's going to be video, in about 8 months, 6 months, 10 months, there's going to be a video. And all the people, all the naysayers in the comments, talking about, oh, support the black kid. It's just incorrect. He escalated that shit to where it was no longer self-defense, in my opinion. And there's other cases just like this. And the only difference is they might both be black, or they might both be white, or they might both be Latino. But whenever there's a separation of race, then there's this whole conversation about what actually happened. It's a lot. I feel, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, so don't burn me for it. I think it's a lot more simple than people are making it out to be. The naysayers who are, saying it's a conspiracy and he's being unequally treated and all these other things. The truth is more often simple. The truth is more often a lot more simple than the theories. That's all I can say. And then I skip forward a little bit into the email, and they further clarify, I guess if you can call it that, a few things. They say, an expulsion conference is then held. The student has the chance to review the evidence and share their side. After the conference, a final decision is made and communicated to the student and their parents. If the student is expelled, they may continue their education through the Juvenile Justice Alternative Education Program. In cases where the student has completed all graduation requirements and facing expulsion, Frisco ISD typically gives the option of early graduation instead of placement into JJAEP, which is Juvenile Justice Alternative Educational Programs. By law, once a student meets all graduation requirements, whether at their home campus or JJAEP, they are eligible to receive a diploma. However, students who are expelled or who choose early graduation instead of attending JJAP are now allowed on Frisco ISD property during that time. So basically, it almost feels like they got caught in a technicality. They're saying basically our hands are tied right here. I didn't know, see where I'm from, if you get expelled, you're just expelled. They don't have meetings and conference hearings and weighing out of the evidence and seeing other sides. If the dean says you're expelled, I mean, they might have one meeting internally, but if they feel like fuck you, it's fuck you. So I guess it works differently out here. And obviously, Dominique Alexander kind of pushed it as hard as he can. He found the caveat to where he could graduate, it seems. So, you know, the whole point of this, and I know it probably took him a whole lot of time to figure out because he doesn't seem like a very smart man to me. The whole point of this was for some clout, was for about 1,500 likes on Twitter. I promise you. He wants his Nagan network to flourish. And in order to do that, he needs press. But you guys let me know what you think. It's kind of a crazy situation. And I know they didn't respond to Austin Metcalf's mother until closer to the period because they just didn't want to deal with the backlash. You know, they just didn't want to deal with it. And after it was set in stone, they're like, oh, sorry, our hands are tied. But anyways, you guys let me know what you think. Shout me out. Hit me up in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. We're back, baby. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.